am I?
So there's been a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
Kanye West is gay.
Well,
no, yeah, I know. That's what some like TikTok person who like licks toilets on airplanes made up that rumor.
I was so happy when I realized that was the same person.
I'm not familiar because I guess I quit TikTok.
I totally forgot about that person. I think that happened before I got on TikTok.
Oh, so I should know this person. I just don't. Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I hope Kanye West is gay because I think no community is going to be thrilled about that.
Yeah. I don't care if he's gay. He did have that whole thing about how he likes fingers in his butt.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, well.
And I was like, that's fine. I just I don't like the theory that it's with Jeffree Star, a racist.
Is James Charles also a racist? I don't know any. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
James Charles is the straightest gay man of all time.
But he looks like a girl sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
There's been TikToks I've seen and I've been deceived.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, huh, that was James Charles. I did not know that, and then now I'm not on TikTok anymore.
That was why.
And it's completely unrelated.
I had a good bad boy this week, and I forget.
Well, fortunately for both us and all of our fans who keep track of the bad boys that we list on this podcast, because this is a very serious true crime podcast that I tell girls about on dating apps. I think what's his name? Via Getty.
Via Getty is
the bad boy of the week.
Via Getty is a bad boy.
He looked way too happy stealing that podium. That man, Mr. Getty.
Mr. Getty is bad.
I have a feeling people
nobody gets this joke.
Yeah. Well, because I think people are gonna be like I'm sure more than just people on Twitter who are dumb think that his name is Via Getty.
Yeah. I mean,
because I'll tell you what, at first glance, I was like, yeah, that guy's name's Via Getty, and I didn't really use my brain until you pointed it out. I was like, oh yeah, those people are dumb, not me though.
If someone showed me that picture and they're like, this man's name is Via Getty, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, no, he looks like a guy who would have a fake name like that, but like he just, I don't know, he looks like it. It's like his face and his hair.
Yeah, right
when people online have weird names, like anyone, like
yeah, everyone's got weird names. Speaking of weird names, to pull back the curtain a little bit on this podcast, I just Googled who is the baddest boy.
Don't give them a window behind our research process. Yeah, it's a new year. All 10 of our fans.
Yeah,
being generous.
This is our 1 year.
We're very international podcast.
We are.
It is the 1 year anniversary.
I think it's next week officially, but this is 1 year. So are you interested in the baddest boy names?
Oh yeah.
This list was updated Thursday, January 7th, 2021. So that's
so we're on the cutting edge.
This is new tech right here. All right, coming in at number 1, we got Rourke.
Rourke's not a bad name.
It's the baddest name.
I mean, who am I to argue with the experts?
Yeah.
Well, actually, if anyone's allowed to argue with the experts, it is us. We have a podcast about bad boys.
We are the experts.
They should have contacted us.
I'm surprised I didn't get that email. All right, coming in at number 2, we got Law. LAW.
Like from Tekken?
Just from like lawyers, I guess.
Okay.
And then we got Locke with an E.
That's like, these are just old names.
Just you wait. It gets a little bit spicy here.
Number 4 is via Getty.
I was going to do that bit 2 names from now.
Sorry.
It's fine. They got out there. Johannes. Great name. Granger. Okay. Here's undoubtedly the best name on the list. Joaquin.
Yeah, I mean, none of these are not. What kind of person wrote this list? I'm trying to phrase that.
This is by the user Not Cinnamon.
Oh, that doesn't tell me anything.
No, it does not. It tells you they're white.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a dude's name, but it doesn't really narrow it down that much. Especially
there's a caption that says "just plain cool names for boys."
That sounds like inappropriate.
We got Falco on here.
He's just a character. What the fuck is this?
We got Lander.
Okay, Lander sucks. That's the first one I thought is not like
Ames, AMES. That one also sucks. Lorcan. That one's real bad. Lorcan.
Okay, and now the list is like making sense. Like Joaquin's a cool name.
Yeah, Joaquin.
I wish my name was Joaquin.
Lev, Christos, Riordan. These are all bad.
Christos. That kind of rules. It's like angelic, you know?
It's Greek for chevron. No, it's not. That's not true at all.
Like, wait, chevron's a word?
Chevron means triangle, and it's also a gas station, I believe. But that's not. Christos clearly is derived from Christ.
Chevron is a line or stripe in the shape of a V or inverted V.
Yeah,
especially one of the sleeve of a uniform indicating rank or length of service.
Yeah, it's also like on street signs they'll have like the yellow and black little triangle things to tell you where to go. Those are chevrons as well.
Wow. Well, fun fact for all
Don't
of our
say you didn't
fans.
learn anything. Chevron. It's a great word.
The most informative podcast yet.
We're teaching the nation's youth.
I hope the youth are not listening to this.
I also hope that. I hope that nobody is listening to this.
Well, we know like one person from fucking, I don't know.
We get Brazil listeners. We get India listeners. We get.
Hold on, I'll know how to keep my opinions about Brazilians to myself.
They're good.
Well, all I can say about Brazilians, which I really shouldn't say at all.
Hey, we got fans there. We might do a live show in Brazil one day. You don't want to. I
don't want to jeopardize that. You know, because we're going to totally be allowed to travel internationally.
I mean, I might.
Okay, half of the podcast is totally going to be able to travel.
A solo live show in Brazil.
Well, then great, because I won't be there.
Yeah.
No, it's just playing with Brazilian kids in online games, specifically Brazilian kids. Not the best experience. They're rude and they have bad internet.
This is factual, and also they do say ja 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 a lot.
Well, that's all Spanish.
In Brazil, they speak Portuguese. Now who's racist?
Well, I mean, but they say that in Spanish too.
Yeah, but
I don't have any issue with ja 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 because it's just ha ha ha. But with Spanish or Portuguese, I guess.
I've always like in my head I know that it's just ha ha ha. But when I was 12, someone told me that it meant a naughty word, and I was like, you know what? Maybe it does. They didn't tell me. I was too young. Yeah,
Good for them.
Yeah, they got me. They friggin' got me. Oh, you know where we get a lot of listeners?
Where?
Germany.
I will go on the record and say that I'm, I've talked about being Italian on this podcast before, but I'm like at least 50 or more % German.
Well, maybe it's you listening then.
Yeah, all my long lost German ancestors have tracked me down.
About 8% of our downloads are German.
That's so crazy. Why are you listening to this?
If you're in Germany right now, hit me up.
Yeah, slide into those DMs.
Explain how you found this show and why you care.
I have a friend from high school, and he is like into German and Germany stuff. I guess he's like part German or whatever. I don't know, but he like is so into it that he plays all of his video games in German.
It's
which is weird. I think
it's not even easy to do.
Like I guess he's fluent enough that he can like understand what's going on, but like we'd be playing World of Warcraft together, and he would like link me an item to look at, but it would like link the German one, and I'm like, I don't like, what the fuck is this? Or he'd like name a character. I'm like, that's not English. I don't know. You're making people up, man.
Or does he name them Schmetterlake?
Basically, yeah.
I believe that means butterfly in German, in Deutsch, as they say.
I mean, in this new zone, in one of the new zones of the game, there's probably some names that are very confusing because they have like
there's new zones.
Yeah, they had new zones every expansion.
There's new expansions.
They're still cranking shit out. That's why on Christmas I gave myself the gift of getting back into World of Warcraft, and I played it for like a week straight, and that was really fun. And then now it's kind of like a job, so I only play like 30 minutes a day.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's fine. I don't have a problem.
I thought that World of Warcraft, they just like stopped doing things in 2012.
I mean, you'd think that they did because it kind of just fell off the map.
I thought like Wrath of the Lich King was like it. So
that was the last big one. I think they've been on like a subscriber decline. I mean, they stopped posting how many people are subscribing since Wrath of the Lich King, I think, because it started going down. But I mean, they made WoW Classic, which I don't touch because like, why would you want to play this shitty game? Because it was undeniably much shittier back in 2004, but apparently people like that.
Well, games were also just much worse in 2004.
Well, it's like part of the appeal of like old World of Warcraft is that they didn't have quest markers, and like you had to figure shit out for like where stuff was. But like all that shit's online. Like you can just look up anything if you're stuck. So like, I don't know.
All the magic's gone, folks.
Yeah, exactly. You can't,
kind of like real life.
Yeah, man. Fuck.
Remember when you had to just not know things?
Dude, we know so much. I was like talking to my mom about this a while ago, but I'm like, our brains are not, equipped to handle all the knowledge that we could possibly get about things. Like, and that's why we're all fucking depressed. And she's like, "You're gay."
Yeah.
My mom's a big MAGA guy or girl. Yes.
Guy.
Yeah, gender neutral guy.
She's a gender neutral guy.
Yeah.
Speaking of people dismissing your genuine thoughts and feelings, I went into work And
Oh, tell me about. I know you have something to say about work. Tell me about
I
work.
had a little bit of information about work. I went into work, and my boss started talking to me as soon as I walked in, which is fine. And I explained to him very quickly into the conversation that money does not exist, and I think it's very funny that we like go to a grocery store and pretend like we put a little plastic card in a plastic thing, and it goes boop 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 boop, and then numbers from one computer go to another computer, and then I just like get to eat for a week. And I'm like, it's funny that we're all just pretending, we're all just like role playing that this means something. And in the middle of me explaining
that is kind of how currency and like society work. Like we all believe that it means something.
Yeah, we just pretend it's just fantasy.
But I mean, it's okay, sure.
Like it is we're just pretending. Like even like we give money value, therefore it has value.
Yeah,
but
it's like, representative of value that.
It's representative of value, and like we don't care where that value was generated. Like if it's stolen, if it's inherited, if it's like earned through hard labor at I don't know,
at the sex worker mines.
Yeah, the sex worker mines. Like we don't care. It's just like
because it's hard. I shouldn't. I'm not.
I get it.
Anyway,
yeah, it's just like we just pretend. So I'm like going on this rant, and my boss is like, "Are you drunk?" And I was like, "All right, that's the end of that conversation, I guess."
That's also kind of a wild thing to like be like, "Oh yeah, money's not real." The first, he's inebriated. Like,
yeah, I mean, it was like 30 seconds after I walked into work.
Yeah,
which like you shouldn't be doing, I guess.
Well, if you shouldn't be doing that, I've done a lot.
But I did that, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't do this, but also it doesn't matter. We're all just pretending. And then also a work story. Now that I'm on the topic and you're interested,
yeah,
our good old friend the Nigerian makes a reappearance. We went on break together at the same time, which doesn't normally happen. And every time I'm in the break room with him, he does something very strange. And this most recent time, I'm on break, and then he comes in after me. And he takes out his phone, and he starts dialing on speakerphone. I'm not wild about it. I
don't get why people speakerphone in public.
I really don't.
Honestly, at all.
Yeah. Like it's fine if you're like doing a 3-minute thing where you're like, oh, talk to my mom for a second.
Yeah.
In your own house specifically. Do not do that in public.
Yeah. If you're on speakerphone and you're outside the walls of your home, you should.
If you can see the sky,
that should be a crime.
Yeah. So it's ringing very loudly. We're the only people in the whole building, and he has to be like sitting 8 feet away from me on speakerphone. And it rings 3 times, and then a robot voice says, "How are you?" And then he hangs up, and it starts ringing again. And I was like, that was weird. And then it rings 3 times, and then a robot voice says, "How are you?" And then he hangs up, and then it starts ringing again. 3 rings. "How are you?" And I was like, is he okay? Like, he did that for 10 minutes.
He just kept calling a robot that would ask him how he is, and then he
did not answer.
But he would be calling the robot, right?
He was calling the robot.
He was reaching out to the robot.
And I say 10 minutes, but I don't really know because that's when I went back to work.
Oh, so it could have been longer, is what you're saying.
It could have been 30 minutes. I don't know. So I'm a little bit concerned for him. Also, in the new year, we have worked together for 4 days. I've been back at work for 4 days.
I've also been back at work for 4 days. And it's been hell, I'll tell you what.
Oh, absolutely. It's been the worst time of my entire life.
Yeah.
3 times over the course of those 4 days, he told me, this year, I'm not going to kill myself.
It's a little early for that.
I mean, like,
that's such a weird New Year's resolution to have. Because if you have to make it, there's a good chance you're not going to succeed.
Yeah, that's a very strange promise to make ahead of time.
Because, like, I could say that, and I don't think anyone, no, I don't think too many people would be concerned if my New Year's resolution was to not kill myself. They think I'm being funny.
Yeah.
Maybe he's being funny.
I don't know.
Well, just alternative comedy, Goofy the Nigerian.
I can never tell. He also told me not to kill myself. Just like we weren't speaking. He was just like, this year, I'm not going to kill myself, and you shouldn't either. All right, man, good message, I guess. Like,
maybe he's like, last year was really bad, and we all wanted to do it, but this year, it'll be fine.
I don't think he knows that last year was bad.
How does he not know?
Like,
why is that? Why do you believe that he doesn't know that it was not great last year for pretty much everybody?
I don't think he knows. Up until like August, his only source of information about the pandemic was asking me, are the cases going up or down? And then I would say it can only go up.
Go up.
It's only physically possible for it to go up. And then he stopped asking me eventually. He never mentioned it again. I don't think he knows about politics at all.
Honestly, that's a really blessed life.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Like, I'm not one to like doom scroll or anything because like I think it's very funny, but like I still, I can't help but like I guess what on Wednesday because today's Friday, right?
That's correct.
Wednesday, when everything was going down at the Capitol, which I learned is spelled different than what you think it would be. I just could not. I couldn't work. I was just like, I have to just read Twitter for 4 hours.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling.
No. But then I got to learn about our good friend via Getty. So
yeah, via Getty.
We gotta get him on the podcast.
I don't want him on the podcast. I really feel like he's going to bogart the mic.
We should not be platforming.
Yeah. Just like, hey, the most recent and most public terrorist of our time. Let's get him on the podcast.
Well, I would say
let's really figure out his point of view.
The public one is the barbarian guy. It's also very funny that people just like cosplayed.
Yeah. That barbarian guy
rating
that barbarian guy a couple months ago apparently allegedly posted on Facebook like if you deface a government building you should be in jail for 10 years.
Yeah.
What a guy.
But it's good when he does it because he's doing it for the soul of America, which I know is a Joe Biden phrasing, but I think that's what they think they're doing too. I mean, dude, it really comes down to this.
Much like the president, Via Getty is just trying to stop the world from killing itself.
Exactly. And I mean, it also blows my mind. I hate talking about like current events and stuff, but it's my life's not that interesting right now. Well, that's not entirely true. Whatever. It's so funny that these people basically like got into the Capitol and they basically just kind of, I mean, with some exception, they mostly just stood around and like, did it for the gram. You know what I mean?
Like that was very funny. That I'm like, these people hate Nancy Pelosi. They want her dead. That's a huge goal in their life is to have Nancy Pelosi dead. They break into her office and like, let's pretend we're using her phone.
Yeah. It's just like think about what they could have done versus what actually happened, and you're like, well, like what a joke, right? Like,
yeah, like
if some people were armed, like they were just like,
I mean, there were
Were they-
4 murders. Let's not downplay that part.
well,
4 deaths. I don't
I
actually.
only know of the one lady who was killed, who was a protester, which is her fault, and then a police officer who also died. So that's like a 1 for 1, you know. And all cops are bastards. We, as people would agree. So
everyone agrees with that.
The protester was also bad.
Yeah.
So who cares? I'm kidding. I mean, it sucks for the guy who died just trying to do his job, but that lady, whatever. She didn't have to raid the Capitol with men and
what I would like to say about these 4 deaths in this
Who are the other
series. One guy had a heart attack because he was so excited to murder Nancy Pelosi or something.
Bad Boy Crimes, the political podcast.
We've done it. We've crossed over.
Yeah. We're literally talking about crimes that are true, folks.
We're sticking to the name. These are some bad boys.
This is the most we've been playing it straight ever.
Yeah. And it sucks.
Yeah.
What I want to say about these 4 dead people is that all lives matter, and I will never learn their names or care what happened.
All right.
Because other people also die. How about that?
That is true. People do die.
People
that
was
the message I got from Soul, except that he didn't die.
Yeah,
did you see that? I didn't. I thought he should have stayed dead.
I loved that movie up until that point, and then I was like, "This is not good anymore."
I wouldn't go that far, but I was vibing. Like I thought it was going to be really emotionally impactful at the end, where he just like has to, accept the end.
It was like
you'd be okay with it, and then they're like, "Nah, we're not going to do that to you." And I was
like the whole point of the movie was to be like, yeah, you can't wait. You only get one life. You can't waste your time dicking around teaching middle school. You gotta grab life by the balls.
I don't think that was what they were trying to communicate.
I thought that was the message. It was just like, you could die at any moment. Don't waste your life doing things that you don't want to. Like, follow your passion, and if you don't,
I think it was also like, just because you didn't make it in your thing, like, doesn't mean you didn't impact people's lives positively, and like learning to reconcile like being.
I mean, that's also part of it.
Yeah. Which those parts hit me harder than I would have liked. But
I remember watching it. And like 30 minutes in, I looked at my wife and I'm like, Pixar made another great movie. And then at the end of the movie, I was just like, I didn't like it.
Well, I feel like Pixar has not been putting out winners since like Coco.
Yeah, Onward.
And that was like 2017.
Yeah, Onward didn't hit me that good.
Like Onward was fine, but it just felt like it. Like,
Onward is a great movie for not Pixar.
It felt like a Disney movie.
Yeah,
not a Pixar movie.
Yeah, it sort of slides in the same category as like a Moana.
But like Moana rules.
Moana's great. I think I love Moana.
Slaps to that song. Or
that fucking movie. I love that song.
Yeah, I need to make like a lo-fi version of that somehow.
You definitely should.
That would be kind of sick.
I love Moana, but like it's a Disney animation. It's not Pixar. Onward felt like a great Disney animation.
Is like kind of like I like Moana like because I like the fucking aesthetic of like island shit.
Yeah,
I like pretending I'm in Survivor, and they're in many ways that's what they were doing too. And I like the music was great. It looked
Music
cool.
was great.
I don't think I really like the story was whatever. Like I liked Moana as a character, and that was probably it.
I
Now I'm
like
talking myself out of liking Moana, but I think the music's so good that I'm.
the music makes it. The one scene with the stingray when her grandma dies. Spoiler alert, dude. That gets me. My wife cries at that every time. It's a beautiful moment. The songs, and I love the little coconut boys.
Oh, yeah, the little coconut guys are pretty funny. I want a movie that I want a Better Call Saul spinoff of the coconut guys.
What are the coconut guys? What are they called? The coconut guys. Nope, did not come up. Google, you fucked me again. Bad boy of the week, Google.
I typed in Moana coconut, and the first thing that popped up was guys. The Moana coconut guys. The Kakamora. They are major antagonists, according to the Disney Wiki. They are major antagonists of Moana.
They're scary. And now I'm looking at pictures of them. Now that I know they're alias, they're pretty scary.
They're the coconut versions of Kachinas, which I really do not like. Them being major antagonists is fucking hold.
They're in it for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, they're like one.
They're less of an antagonist than the lobster.
In early versions of the story, the Kakamora were more comedic. As the filmmakers wanted to raise the stakes, however, they were rewritten to serve as a serious threat to Moana's life. I never took them seriously at all.
No, I did not.
They were more comedic. I feel like they should have stuck with that.
Yeah. Like the best part of them is at the beginning when they have like little smiley faces and they draw on angry faces. I'm like, yo, these dudes are sick. And then they got like 6 seashell hats, and I'm like, hell yeah, dude. That's it.
Yeah, I wish I was a little coconut guy. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Alignment bad.
I mean, they are bad. I'll give them that.
This wiki rules. Natural abilities: drumming, sailing, and ziplining.
Behavior.
Yeah, intense, crazy, scary.
Coordinated, psychopathic, bloodthirsty.
They make this wiki is making these guys sound like they make them sound like major antagonists, and like they were there for like 5 minutes.
Small coconut bodies, face paintings, pink arms and legs, hands and feet, green wrist and ankle bands, hollowed eye sockets. That's
Fate lost at sea after their ships faced collision and were destroyed.
They roll up on ships. That's their fate. That's not the lore. I misunderstood.
How come in Soul, Terry is the only one of those squiggly dudes that is not named Jerry?
Good question.
Also, I think the movie would have been better if all the Jerrys were Jerry Seinfeld. Not even like just green screen in human live action Jerry Seinfeld.
I mean, you could do that. It's like Fred Willard and Wall-E. All right, we gotta stop talking about Pixar. I feel like nobody cares. This is a true crime podcast, and we're talking about children's movies.
Well, Soul's not a child. No child is going to watch that movie and find any of it relatable.
I did say that watching the movie. I was like, does Pixar make children's movies anymore? I feel like Coco's not even that much of a children's movie.
I mean, the kid's a protagonist. He goes on a fun adventure. You have to deal with your dying grandma or whatever. That's like kind of relatable kid shit. Like it's still kind of dark.
Like I think it's borderline. They used to they have genuine children's movies that adults can enjoy. Children cannot enjoy Soul.
Yeah, no, I mean, because they haven't gotten to the point in their life where they know that they're not going to make anything of themselves yet.
Yeah, and also like they don't understand jazz.
No, not at all. And if they're not black, and don't live in New York, then the rest of the movie is just like.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the cool parts of the movie were just like, oh, it's New York. Like if you've been in New York, you're like, hell yeah, it's New York. I've been there.
Which I hate that, you know. Like we were talking in one of the Discords a little bit yesterday. God, this sucks. About Master of None, because I saw that famed sex criminal Aziz is getting a third season of his show.
R.I.P. Netflix.
Yeah, which I don't get why they're giving it another season, because it wasn't a good show. Like it's like people like can say it's like artsy, but it's like it's just has the aesthetic of something that's artsy. It's not actually like meaningful in any way. You know what I mean? Like it's just.
I remember
it's like isn't dating in New
enjoying
York bad, and also being in New York like the best thing ever? And if you're not in New York, like you should kill yourself.
Yeah, I remember enjoying it, but I also remember like not finding it funny or insightful. I was just like, yeah, like it looks nice, and you know, there's moments where I'm just like, oh hey, that happened.
Yeah,
I get it. I understand. Which like took me back to being a child when I would watch sitcoms that were like slightly above my age range. Like I was 6 and I watched like Frasier.
I never got like, Frasier.
No, me neither. But I remember I watched it when I was too young to understand. And then they would say a reference that I understand. Like I didn't understand the punchline, but they would be like, San Francisco, and I'm like, I've heard of San Francisco, and then I would laugh.
You're like, wow, yeah, what a show! I was such a stupid kid because like I missed out on like a lot of pop culture stuff because like my parents would just show me like movies from the 40s instead of like anything that would help me socialize with people my age. And so like people would like make references to things, and I would like laugh because like it was a funny voice.
Yeah.
Not like a funny voice that I recognized. I didn't obviously see the movie or whatever. Like I was just like, funny voice.
Yep.
I'm going to laugh to fit in.
Yeah. Like that's why I watched a lot of shows with laugh tracks as a kid, because I would be like, I get it. I know when to laugh. And then I wouldn't pay attention to it. And then I remember being called out. They're like, why are you laughing at parts that aren't jokes? I'm like, oh, they said a thing that I'm aware of.
Isn't that delightful?
They referenced Hollywood, and I have heard about Hollywood from a movie. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that kind of does lead back to what you were saying, how it's like
that's how
the same version of that, but like for 20-year-olds.
Yeah. I was just like, oh yeah, I've heard of Tinder.
Oh.
I've heard that it's not fun to use. Yeah.
Very unrealistic the quality of bass he was pulling in on that show. Very unrealistic.
I believe it.
Because in season 2, he gets with this like Italian girl who is like,
well, she's really Italian.
I mean, don't even get me started. Do not get me started.
We gotta stop. We gotta stop referencing people's ethnicities on this show.
I mean, I think you're allowed to do that with Italians. No, we're not. It's nationalities, because she is literally from Italy.
That's true. It's the loophole.
Just like the Nigerian is.
He is from Nigeria.
Yeah, so it's fine. It's fine to talk about nations, but
yeah, all right.
Nothing.
You've sold me.
Yeah. I sold.
You know my favorite country in Africa?
No. What is it?
I can't say it.
Oh, okay. I had to do a project on Zimbabwe in like 6th grade
It's pretty cultured.
for my history class with Miss Bothwell. One time I shaved my head for like swim team because I didn't want to wear a swimming cap.
Smart.
And we had a test the day that like I had my hair for the first time, or I guess I didn't have my hair because it was all shaved off. And she didn't hand me a test when she was passing them out. And I was like, what the fuck? And she's like, well, since you're a student who's you're visiting as like a prospective student, like you don't need a test, but like I guess if you really want one, like you can do one also. And I was like, it's February. I've been here for over a semester. And I just shaved my head, and your fucking senile ass doesn't recognize me anymore.
Well, shouldn't have put on a disguise.
She only died like last year.
All lives matter.
She was
That's
old
what I
as
say.
fuck. She kept getting pneumonia, like she was trying to get it.
That is a hobby that they have.
I'm surprised she made it that long. I hated her. She was my least favorite history teacher.
Well, I hope her family is listening.
Good.
Yep.
She wasn't even like it's not like I hated her and like I was a shithead and like because you know like you can be like I say me specifically, I could be a shithead to teachers that we like mutually hate, or just people in general, like we mutually hate each other, but I'm like partially responsible. Like I was a good kid still back then. And
Those were the days.
She was a dick.
Yeah. I also
She made us memorize every country in the world and put them on maps.
How many can you name to this date?
Not all of them. I certainly could.
It's
I could name
changed since then.
I don't think that much.
All right.
But you know, I can name the United States. There's Canada,
Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Dominican Republic, Cuba, the Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador,
Japan. I know Japan. That one I know.
Definitely Japan. Mongolia. It's a good one. Eswatini.
All right, now we're just all right. This bit's gone long enough. We're not just gonna name fucking countries.
Turkey. Israel.
Have you ever been bullied by a teacher?
Yemen.
Right.
Kuwait. You see, if you keep doing the bit, it stops being funny and then it starts again.
I think our like 5 listeners in Germany, another country.
Ooh. Gotcha.
They're not listening anymore.
I don't know why they listened in the first place. I'm glad they're gone. I have.
Well, I mean, honestly, if they've been because I feel like this episode's been like
it's listenable.
I feel like it's been a pretty listenable, enjoyable experience.
I feel like,
and if they've been listening to our other episodes, and then they'll definitely still be listening to this.
If you're in Germany, I love you. Thank you.
Say hello.
Hello. Or as you might say, hello. Is that accurate?
I don't even know how to say hello in German. I feel like it's something I feel like it's something I should know.
Is that Deutsch?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's Deutsch. I did have a couple teachers bully me. I believe in America it's different, but in Canada, a 50% in a class is a pass.
Yeah, it is not a pass for us.
I feel like it's harder to get a 50%.
Wait, what is a pass not an F? Like, is a D a pass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, F is the only fail.
Okay. I think ours is like in high school, 69 was the highest F you could get, which is pretty
that
funny.
sucks. That's way too high. I had a couple teachers give me a 49%. And then I looked at them and I was like, these are like made up. You can just change it. Yeah. And like you doing this is taking away a month of my life in summer school. And like, I'm not poor, but if I was poor and I need to work to support my family over this summer, you're poor phobic. And then they're just like,
people like being poor
just phobic. People love being poor phobic. Particularly rich people like us 1%ers.
The amount of money we make off this podcast is surprising.
It is actually genuinely surprising. You would not guess it by listening how much money we make. I know what you're thinking. It's zero. And you know what? I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Costs money to host this podcast. So I'm actually in the negatives, bud. Didn't think of that.
But you've made money off your albums, kind of.
I have. I've made less than I put into them, but I have gotten paid for my music.
Hey, there you go.
Speaking of which, I released a Christmas album, and now that it's Christmas time, you are free to listen to it on Spotify.
Yeah, it's good. I listened to it. Oh, it's also on Amazon Music because that's what I use.
It's like everywhere.
Yeah,
it's on Bandcamp. It's on Deezer. It's on Napster. It's on Last.fm. It's on Apple Music. It's on YouTube.
Oh, I gotta have it on YouTube.
Gotta have it on YouTube. That's where 15-year-old UK rappers will steal your beats.
They do. I got a takedown on one of my songs because I used a sample that was like in a music library that like I legally had access to.
Yeah.
But I disputed it. It was fine. But I just thought, I was like, really? You're gonna? It like wasn't even a big person. Like the song that was from the person that was like taking me down had like no more than 10,000 views on it. And I thought, I was just like, come on, man. We both got this from GarageBand. Just chill. Yeah.
Just relax.
I might have a new video coming out soon.
That's good.
But then there will be a drought because somebody went through my Target and bought like all of the Pokemon cards.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I was doing a TikTok.
I was
doing a clickbait video where it's like, guy buys 800 Pokemon card packs. You'll never guess what was in pack 15.
I hate those. I feel like the way that I do my Pokemon videos, there is honor.
Yeah, you do not clickbait.
I hate clickbait.
You do.
I kind of do misleading titles. Oh, the thumbnails are funny, but I don't even make them. I get my friend to make them for me.
Yeah, that's I'm just the noble thing to do.
Here's the outline of what I will like. I'm just like, put Charizard in it.
You did. This one's about Pikachu. You did do an Among Us thumbnail.
Yeah,
I thought that was good.
You say I did it. I didn't even ask for that. I was just like, hey, do one for this. And he's like, got you covered, Among Us. I'm like, okay.
I'll be real with you. I wasn't going to watch that video at the time that I watched it. And then I was like, you know what? He's doing Among Us content. That's cool. I'll check it out. I got by the clickbait. So I'm gonna claim on behalf of Inner Sloth. I'm going to claim that video for copyright infringement.
Okay, well, you too can check out my clickbait Among Us video at Robinson B. Caruso on YouTube. And also follow my Twitter at Robinson_Caruso, where I was canceled, which we don't need to get into.
Canceled. All right. Does that mean we're done? We're doing plugs?
Yeah, I guess we're done because it's like 8. I need to get ready for work because I'm still in pajamas from my McDonald's run.
All right. Let's do a quick recap of the episode, just in case people zoned out.
Just in case people just skip to the end. Because people...
Yeah, if you skip to the end just for the plugs, I know a lot of people skip to the end of a podcast just to hear the plugs. It's often my favorite part of a podcast. But now that you're curious about what happened earlier in the episode, here's a little teaser.
Yeah.
We talked about Pixar for 10 minutes. We talked about via Getty for 10 minutes.
I talked about World of Warcraft for like a solid 2.5 minutes.
That's true. I forgot about that part.
You're like, I'm going to edit Brazil. That out. Oh, yeah. Talk about it. Also, we just listed the names of countries.
We did list it. See if your country's in the list.
If it didn't make the cut,
well,
stop listening to this podcast. Or India.
Your country does not matter.
India matters.
Oh, yeah. We got to say India. We got a lot of listeners from India. India, keep listening. We love you.
Do we have a lot of listeners from India?
Yeah, we genuinely do.
Sick. All right. Yeah.
If you are from Mumbai, what up? Tell your mum hi from me. All right, that's it. That's the plugs. That's the recap. Fucking something happened. I don't know. The bad boy of the week was via Getty.
Did we even explain the joke?
No.
Should we?
Fine. There's the picture of the guy who looks like his name is via Getty. That's not his real name. If you've seen the picture, if you're into a little bit of underground politics, there's a man, very famous image currently, a very viral pic of a man who looks like his name is via Getty, but via Getty just means that the image came from the website Getty Images. That's the bit. Now that it's been
and the bit is that people on Twitter are like, yes, via Getty, that's the name of this terrorist. Let's get him.
Yeah.
And that's the joke. So now that it's been explained, you can now re-listen to the episode and laugh along with us.
I'm looking at that picture right now.
She does look like via Getty.